the Saturn-Neptune conjunction occurs in early 2026 around 0 degrees Aries, and therefore it always relates to the position of your natal Saturn, forming an aspect with it and initiating a strategic life correction. This is not a single event, but the beginning of a maturation process that lasts for years. Those born with Saturn in Aries. Approximately between 1996 to 1999 and 2025 to 2028. This generation is now in direct resonance with the conjunction, because it is occurring in the same sign. This means that identity, self-assertion, and the "I want" pattern are being radically reshaped. For many, the 2026 period brings disillusionment with the idea that anything can be achieved through sheer willpower alone, and teaches that true strength lies not in rushing forward, but in conscious direction. This is especially strong for those who are now 27 to 30 years old, as this coincides with the antechamber or the beginning of the first Saturn return. The core question then becomes, who am I without illusions, and what is it that I can truly build? Those born with Saturn in Taurus. Approximately between 1968 to 1970 and 1998 to 2000. For the Saturn in Taurus generation, the 2026 conjunction has a semi-square, tension-creating effect that challenges illusions of material security, self-worth, and stability. For many, a sense emerges that the solid foundations they have relied on until now, work, wealth, status, do not provide inner peace. This is not a collapse, but a slow realization that teaches that value is not equal to possession. By age, this is particularly sensitive around 55 to 58, when the question arises: what remains when familiar structures are no longer what sustain you? Those born with Saturn in Gemini. Approximately between 1971 to 1973 and 2001 to 2003. This generation receives the 2026 conjunction as a sextile, offering an opportunity for deep transformation in thinking and communication. Saturn in Gemini often learned early on that information is power, but now comes face to face with the realization that not all knowledge equals wisdom. From 2026 onward, many feel a growing urge to teach, write, and pass on structured knowledge, while letting go of superficial, scattered modes of functioning. This often goes hand in hand with a refinement of one's life path, especially around the ages of 45 to 48. Those born with Saturn in Cancer. Approximately between 1973 to 1975 and 2003 to 2005. For the Saturn in Cancer generation, this conjunction has a square aspect, making it emotionally challenging. The core theme involves attachment, family, emotional security, and self-sacrifice. Around 2026, many will realize that caring for others cannot mean giving up on themselves. This is especially strong for those who have long held the family together, either emotionally or physically. In terms of age, it often brings boundary setting, emotional detachment, or a deep inner healing process around 50 to 52 years old. Those born with Saturn in Leo. Approximately between 1975 to 1977 and 2005 to 2007. For the Saturn in Leo generation, the 2026 conjunction has a trine aspect, though not in an easy sense. Here, creative self-expression, leadership, and personal identity take on a new, more mature form. For many, the inner compulsion to prove oneself falls away, giving way to a quieter, steadier self-confidence. This period often brings professional consolidation or a mentor role, especially around the ages of 48 to 50, when the individual is less focused on shining and more on making an impact. Those born with Saturn in Virgo. Approximately between 1977 to 1980 and 2007 to 2009. This generation forms a quincunx aspect with the conjunction, representing a subtle but constant need for internal adjustment. Saturn in Virgo individuals are often perfectionists and overcommit, and around 2026, they confront the realization that control does not equal security. Common themes include a redefinition of health, work, and service, often accompanied by lifestyle changes or restructuring at the workplace. This is particularly prominent around the ages of 43 to 46. Those born with Saturn in Libra. Approximately between 1980 to 1982 and 2009 to 2012. The Saturn in Libra generation experiences an almost oppositional effect with the Aries conjunction, prompting a radical rewriting of relationship patterns. From 2026 onward, relationships built merely on the appearance of balance can no longer be sustained. Many confront the question, where have I given too much in exchange for peace? This often involves divorce, new relationship structures, or conscious periods of solitude, especially around the ages of 42 to 45. Those born with Saturn in Scorpio. Approximately between 1982 to 1985 and 2012 to 2015. For the Saturn in Scorpio generation, this conjunction forms an inconjunct aspect, creating a deep psychological impact that brings issues of control, trauma, and trust to the surface. From 2026 onward, many begin a long inner healing process, during which old survival strategies lose their power. This often manifests through therapy, spiritual work, or life-changing realizations, especially around the ages of 38 to 41. Those born with Saturn in Sagittarius. Approximately between 1985 to 1988 and 2015 to 2017. This generation receives trine support, which helps ground faith, teaching, and worldview. Saturn in Sagittarius has often sought truth, but now learns to truly live it. Around 2026, many take on a teaching or mentoring role, or follow a life path where knowledge becomes service. This influence is especially active around the ages of 35 to 38. Those born with Saturn in Capricorn. Approximately between 1988 to 1991. This generation experiences a square from the conjunction, signaling a harsh but liberating transformation of life structures. Saturn in Capricorn individuals often grew up too quickly, bearing too much responsibility, and around 2026 they confront the realization that the musts they've followed can no longer be sustained. This often involves career changes, burnout, and subsequent rebuilding, especially around the ages of 35 to 38. Those born with Saturn in Aquarius. Approximately between 1991 to 1994. The Saturn in Aquarius generation receives a sextile aspect, which supports the creation of new structures in the areas of community, technology, and vision. From 2026 onward, many will realize how to turn unique thinking into a functional system. This often culminates in social, community, or innovative projects, especially around the ages of 32 to 35. Those born with Saturn in Pisces. Approximately between 1994 to 1996 and 2023 to 2026. For the Saturn in Pisces generation, this conjunction represents closure and transition. For the older group, 1994 to 1996, it marks the culmination of spiritual and emotional maturation, releasing old victim roles, while for the newly born, it carries the collective imprint of a new era. This energy is about learning how to live with sensitivity while maintaining boundaries.